everyone, welcome back. Today I'm joined by Joe Clark, Fleet Management Director for the City of Durham, which was one of our top 20 leading fleets for 2025, and Assistant Director John Ferguson. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so Joe, I'd love to start with you and to give our audience a little bit of context. We were talking about what success looks like to fleets, and you had a really great response, and that's why we're talking today and doing this interview because we want to delve into that a little bit more. But to give a little background, you've overseen your fleet through obviously a number of changes. So I'd love for you to start out by telling us some of the accomplishments you're most proud of.
I think the biggest accomplishment I'm proud of is when I first took over, the fleet was really underfunded. So I put together a team and we set about educating our city council on the merits of a fully funded replacement program. So about 2016, we met with the city council and got them to buy into what we call a 10-year replacement program. And with this program, we've been able to right-size the ship here. It's made things a lot better. Downtime has gone away. Availability's gone up. And also along the way is morale has gone up with whether it's the user or the people that fix the vehicles. So it's been a win-win for us.
So then what qualities or skills do you believe are essential for the next person stepping into your role?
The next person really needs to be a leader, have a lot of good interpersonal skills, along with analytical and organizational skills. And then a bigger thing as well might be strategic minded and the ability to adapt. And of course, technical and industry knowledge is great, as well as some certifications, but it's the amount of money we're spending and the cost of capital, you really need to have a lot of tools in your toolbox, a lot of knowledge.
Well, talking about leadership, and John, feel free to jump in on this question, but I'd love for you to share an example about where the two of you collaborated on a challenge or maybe an initiative that shaped your current operations.
I'll start with this and John can chime in, but when I first got the job, I had found out a department within the city was allowed to pull away from our maintenance shop and start doing maintenance activities themselves. And didn't feel like that was a good idea for the organization or for either department for that matter, since we have a nice, fully robust department here that does this on a daily basis. So got together with John and we developed a strategy to educate, the end users, the city manager, and develop a strategy where we can get this back under our purview. You want to chime in, John?
I agree. That was a major milestone to see one of your end users make a break outside of our purview of fleet management, especially with the successes we had proven. We had the opportunity to make the business case of what made the most sense for the city, and due to our relationship with our city manager and the trust they had in us, it was determined that it was best suited under our watch. So it was rewarding, but a challenge all at the same time.
So yeah, no, that's a really huge thing. And then, going kind of in relation to that, how do you approach balancing things like compliance or efficiency or sustainability, especially when those goals are sometimes some things that compete?
So what we do with that, we've got a departmental business plan that focuses on the things that make us effective and efficient. However, we are all part of the city's organization, which has a strategic plan. So we need to figure out a way to align our goals and initiatives with the city's overall arching goals. So with that in mind, we can't get bogged down too much in the weeds because we know that there's an overarching plan that we have to support. But along the way, we want to be able to educate our staff on what we're measuring and what we're trying to accomplish, how it helps in the grand scheme of things. So it's important to, our operational ties tie them into the overall goals of the department, the city, and also the residents that we serve.
as far as the data points go, what are you monitoring most closely? And then as far as the metrics go, how do those influence any recent decisions?
This is an interesting one for us because you mentioned that leading fleets earlier. Anytime you do well, you've got people that come out of the woodwork requesting information about your organization. A lot of benchmarking companies. So, we focus on availability, employee production, inventory turnover, fill rate discrepancies, things like that, because we always know as well as we're doing, there's always somebody out there that would like to come in and take this over, and make the case that it would be cheaper to outsource. So we run it like a business. So we want to make sure our decisions are data driven and we're doing things as best as possible.
Well, now kind of focusing on, on future focused questions, I want to pick both your brains on this, with the industry evolving, as we all know, and it's happening very quickly. What are some of the areas that you see as most important for public fleets over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
So I can comment on that. Is for us sustainability in everything we do as a both a municipality and as well as a department for fleet. Uh, Alternative fuels, idle reduction technology, electrification where it makes sense. Uh, Things like that is, sustainability, trying to reduce our carbon intensity as an organization, considering the amount of fuel that we burn, but also the challenge of public safety, which is a large consumer of our gasoline, trying to get better fuel economy or an alternative to a conventional engine to that's also mission capable. So it's one of our bigger challenges. And of course, the financial component of managing a fleet and fleet replacement is having a strong economy to be able to fund replacement.
Again, for both of you, what are some of the lessons that you've learned around building an effective fleet team, especially when it comes to, the unique strengths that come with the public sector?
So emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate oftentimes complex missions or service delivery, and like you had said previous, that are a lot of times differing. So to be able to make outside the box, I don't want to say concessions, but offer solutions that benefit everyone that's working together to try to come up with a mission capable vehicle or piece of equipment that has certain defined, service delivery goals, but meets sustainability options or carbon reduction. Uh, that's driving a lot of the things we do today. But in teams, as establishing clear goals, and of course having milestones, lessons learned. If you fail, and you're going to fail at times, not assigning blame, and just keep charging forward, and so of course celebrating success with recognition for your teammates. No one person fails, no one person wins.
Yeah, I'd like to add, what I look for, I like to build a team of not necessarily like-minded people. So I'd like to find somebody that's smarter than me in certain areas. I want somebody that will challenge me. Just because I want to do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the right direction to go in. So, I'm looking for folks that uh, will speak their mind, have good knowledge, and willing to share it, and work us. Let's work our way through all these problems we approach together, and that way it's not my way or the highway, it's our way, and we've agreed upon it.
What's one thing that you want the public or other agencies to understand when it comes to managing a government fleet?
Quote I always reference, and it's if you're doing it the same way you did it 10 years ago, you're doing it wrong. Uh, Position yourself on the front side of the curve, especially when it comes to technology adaptation, adoption. Putting yourself in the front so that way you're not trying to fight that fight from the rear as time has passed you by. But with the caveat, get in small. Don't go all in. Get in small scale pilots. gives you an opportunity for buy-in from your end users, demonstrate the technology. You can be proactive in its implementation, and not every pilot's going to be successful or have the correct duty cycle. So to be able to try, at least try it and give it a shot, an opportunity to be successful. And then of course, you get a lot more engagement from the end user. So for us, we're not always the first to adapt new technology, but we'll always look at it and verify whether or not it will complete our mission, because we are, public service, public health, public safety driven organization, and those things are first and foremost our goal. The sustainability components are close second. However, we've got to get our work done.
That's a very good point. And I think, something for fleets to remember. Okay, so I actually have one last question, and Joe, this is going back to you in our original conversation about success. And I want you to go back into that and, ask you, what does success look like for you as a fleet?
Well, I think it means many things to many people, but to me, it's really more about, I want to feel good at the end of the day that I've been trusted with a lot of money on the city's behalf, on the taxpayers' behalf. I've built, trust with management, so I'm given a lot of latitude to do things that, may not be popular, but they understand that I'm doing things for a real good reason. And at the end of the day, we can go home and say, we've done a good job. We spent the money well, and we know that the folks are out there doing what they're paid to do. We've got mission-driven goals that are successful. We've got them the right vehicle, the right size, the right type. The duty cycles match up. We're doing things efficient and effective. We run it like a business, even though it's technically not a business. It is a municipal corporation. We try to do things not necessarily profit-driven, but in a very efficient manner. So that's what success looks like to me. I mean, it's not necessarily winning awards, but it's, we measure, we figure out what we're doing right, we figure out what we're doing wrong, and we continue to strive to do the very best that we can with the resources that we've been given.
Okay, well, thank you both so much for joining me. And for those people that are watching, what's next for the city? We'll end on that note.
We're always getting that push to get on the bandwagon. Look at what our neighbors are doing. They've got this shiny object, and John and I both are in a kind of agreement on that. We like to take things in a measured approach. So you're seeing electric fire trucks, electric trash trucks, things like that being tossed around. In our opinion, that's not money well spent. We've gone down a path where we're trying to push B20 and renewable diesel, a much cheaper way to be clean and green. And that's kind of where we're going. But at the same way, we know that sustainability measures and goals are doing things electric. So we want to take a measured approach. We've electrified a pretty good size of our small light duty fleet. And, we're now sitting back and watching how it works. And like everybody else, it's kind of get in where you fit in. Some folks can do it because they've got the money or they're going after grants. Like I said, we're taking our time. We're watching what others do, but we want to be successful because at the end of the day, we've got work that needs to be done in the field. And people look to us to make sure that we're providing them with the proper resources to do that.
Well, it sounds like you guys are busy. Always a lot going on with fleets, as we know. But thank you both so much for just taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about success, about what you guys are doing, and what that looks like in a leadership role for a fleet and what that takes.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And for everybody watching, thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us again next time for another GovCast episode. See you then.